Hey friends, welcome to Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo, money. My company, Woman-Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a more positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hey, moneymakers! Welcome back to another episode of Woman-Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm Amanda Dare, your host, and I'm here with the most beautiful woman I have ever seen across from me.
You are so sweet.
This braid you've got going on, she cute. The most beautiful smile. But Cynthia Lee is here with us. Thank you, Cynthia, for joining us.
Oh, yay!
Yay! Hold on, I got some applause.
Yes!
Listen, who doesn't love a sound effect?
I love everything that you just did. Like literally, the dollar signs and the people. Oh my God.
You got to start it off with some sound effects.
I love it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining me and having just, I don't know, the vibes that we've always had come to the rest of the world. I'm very, very excited.
We have vibed like nobody's business. We bonded on music. We bonded on parents. We bonded on business.
You were like, I think we trauma bonded. I was like, we definitely did.
We had some trauma bonding, and that like the tear shedding was like solidified everything.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking about like at Gathered Brilliance, the event for amplifying Black business owners that you and Holly vibed with and put on. You just held me there when you saw me, and I was like, Cynthia, I love you. I needed you. Like everything that you had sent me before that, I was so happy to receive.
It was such a good place for everybody. I felt like there was so much synergy. No one saw race that day.
Yeah.
Can we just say that out loud?
Yeah.
Or maybe there was a couple that saw race, but then they seemed like the outlier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like when it was called out, it was kind of like, you're weird. I'm going to say it out loud. But I loved that day because I think it was a culmination of like all of the energy and effort that we have been trying to instill for women.
Yeah.
Women business owners.
Right.
It was so good. It was so good.
We're going to do so many more good things together.
I can't wait.
People are going to feel so connected to each other. They're going to have trust with one another.
Yes.
I mean, I talked to Holly about this on our episode, but what I noticed a lot within the Black and white communities was just lack of trust.
Yes.
And it's not even lack thereof. It's like, I mean, the whole history of everything that is causing us to maybe not be sure who's cool and who's not. And maybe if we do connect on some of this trauma, you can know like, okay.
Yes.
I mean, trauma doesn't equal trust, but trauma opens up some connection. And
it opens up the vulnerability that leads to trust. And I think that's why Holly and I got so close and connected. So like whenever she was kind of like feeling bad about some things that happened during the event, I was like, you will not target her on my watch.
And you're like standing next to her and holding her, that space for her and that space for you and that space for everyone in that room. I just was so happy to be there.
It was yummy.
Yeah. Oh. So we actually met like, I want to say, was it close to a year plus ago though? Time.
Yeah, it was because I was
make
in
sense
this
to me anymore.
business accelerator program for women.
Tell us about it.
It was the Jedi program. It was put on actually by Tawana Bain. She's a prominent business owner in the community. And I know it was funded through Grant Cardone, who does grant funding.
Nice.
Wink, wink. Wink, wink, business owners.
Don't mind me just writing it down.
He does grant funding, everybody.
I'm going to get her with these.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, you should be waiting for this one.
That makes me want to like shake something.
I love it.
I love it. Okay, so so we met then, and then I walked into your store and I was bedazzled and in awe.
Thank you.
Like everything in here is shiny and pretty and pink, and how do we buy every item in here?
Right.
Like that's what the feeling I got. And then when I got upstairs to like the office area, your calendars blew me away. So guess what I did?
Did you buy it?
I bought them.
I swear, I have still more of that calendar than I have most of my own. Actually, I have an extra one that we can't use if you need one for this year.
Don't you play with me.
It's sitting right over there. Always be selling. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Seriously, that calendar changed my life. And so then I started sharing the fact that I had like this 12 calendar sequence on my walls. Like I put it up just like you did, like across the wall.
We actually used to have it on this wall even.
Oh, did
and then we set up these desks. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a beautiful display because I'm like, now I can see what's happening in my life.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what it is, it's the Poketo, P-O-K-E-T-O calendar. And it's massive. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all 12 months. They're individual sheets. They're each different colors. And go buy yourself one because
it's amazing.
Yeah, I swear that I got so many messages just about that calendar.
And you know what I do to recycle it? You're going to be like, you are so cheap, girl. So I take Post-it notes like this.
Yeah. Put it over.
And I put it on the calendar date instead of writing on the calendar directly. I just use Post-it notes, different color Post-it notes. And I'm like, guess what? I'm not even going to put the year on here, but I know which month I'm on.
So I like that.
So actually, I have used the same calendar since last year.
Yeah.
I know it sounds cheap, but I totally have.
It's not cheap. It's fucking smart.
Totally have.
You're saving that money for other priorities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, Amazon gets all my money anyway.
Right. I just like to think of WOW as woman-owned Amazon. And
it really is.
We ship faster than them, just...
Yes. And can we talk about shipping? Because I think women should start shipping their own stuff more often. Don't use those shippers. You can do it.
Like the print on demand stuff or something.
Yes. Like hire one person. Anyway, that's a whole nother.
That's a whole thing because I've been talking to people about that because like the quality is not the same. I don't know. It's interesting because some stuff, it makes a lot of sense and some stuff it doesn't. So we only have a few products that we could do that with. It's a whole conversation of what works for you, but I'm a product girly. Yeah. I've been doing it 15 years and I love it. But I do love that it creates the opportunity for people to get started. And I feel like that's a really difficult thing.
Yeah.
It's so scary to get started. And I don't want that to be the thing that stops you.
What I love about being an entrepreneur is that it builds so much confidence.
It does.
In you.
Mm-hmm.
And that confidence just continues to grow as you grow in business. Mm-hmm. And by the end of it, you're like, I can really do anything. I've recreated myself like 10 times. Like you can too. And
there's really nothing I couldn't.
There's nothing we can't do. Mm-hmm. It really isn't. I really believe that. Even in these difficult times that we're facing right now.
Yeah. Before we got started recording, y'all, we were chatting about it a little bit. Listen, people are out there. We're feeling the heat. It's going into summer too, but we're feeling the financial heat.
Yes.
Are we going to make it through this recession? And of course we will.
I know we will, but it is a collective energy. Everybody is just strapped. Mm-hmm. Everybody's strapped. Prices have went up. Listen, I bought deodorant the other day and I was like, when did deodorant become $10? $10? What? Like, I'm just like, I remember it being like $5.99, like even $6.99. No, it's $10.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at the cost of everything going up.
Yeah.
It really has charged me with helping women, business owners specifically, like earn what they're worth.
Yes. And you do that through your beautiful sales coaching, which we're going to get into so deep, so far in, because who doesn't need that? Everybody's in business to make some money, to take care of their families, to take care of themselves. Don't forget yourself. Hey! Little dance moment. You got to give yourself that love too. But we'll get into that so that you can actually build up that confidence and feel great about making those sales, even in a time where you're feeling, doesn't feel that good right now.
It's not going to happen. My sales aren't happening the way I want them to. I'm not growing.
Yeah, we'll get through all those goodies. But you know me, y'all, I like to go back. to
back
like
into time.
So far. And I was like, okay, girl, so how did you think about money like the first time? Like when did you like vibe with it the first time? And you mentioned the word rebate to me, and no one has mentioned rebates on this podcast yet. So get it.
God,
first time for everything.
Let's talk about rebates as a 7-year-old. Okay. Like, first of all, my bubble was burst because I found out there was no Santa Claus because of a rebate check my mom got. This is how nosy and where's Santa Claus?
Where is he?
Did Santa Claus buy this toy, Mama? Why did you get the rebate? Oh, no.
You didn't even know I had that sound. I'm just pulling out sound. Womp.
I was so devastated.
Yeah, of course.
That's when I started to understand how money works. Like somebody's buying something, you can actually get coupons, you can get rebates. How much off is this? Mom, how much money did you get back in this rebate? Exactly. And isn't that mine? Because you bought the toy for me. Like I had all
and
the
now
questions.
That money is mine. I see.
That's when I started to really pay attention to money. And I'll be honest with you, it was the spirit of lack that made me more in tune to wanting to earn a better living for myself than what I kind of grew up in. So I'm like, I don't want to have these struggles in life. I don't want these struggles.
Right.
So how do I change my trajectory to get the things that I want? Started paying attention to how to get the things.
What was something did you start saving as a kid? Was something that started to feel good for you with money, as you were kind of growing into yourself, do you think?
Girl, you're going to laugh. So
I want to laugh.
I've been a seller for a long time, and I actually got on punishment for this.
You did?
I did. So I convinced my little brother to go with me and knock doors in our neighborhood. And the goal was to collect money for a charity. That kind of was me.
Sponsorship.
Yes. I started very early. And so I remember going door to door, knocking on the door.
Yeah.
With a bucket and just talking about a charity. I literally made it up. This is how I knew I was in sales. This is at young, 11. And my brother was next to me and we're we're raising money for a special charity to support kids, blah, 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 blah. I was the kid. Yeah. So I wasn't lying.
We're raising money for the Santa Claus charity of helping us believe that he's still real.
The non-rebate. Yeah. So I was and then, my mom found out because I had all this kind of loose cash and change. And she was like, where did you get all of that? And I was like, well, we kind of, I did. I used to not lie at all. I told my mama the hardest truths.
Yeah. She was like, I got to deal with this now.
I got a child, what have you done? So she made me give all my money back to the people. And then that's when I realized I have a gift of some sort that I can use in the world. It felt very natural to me to ask for things and not feel bad about asking for things. So I was okay, how can I do this again? I had $50. That was a great...
Man, that's a good
haul. I know. Exactly. And we sat down, we counted it you do your Halloween candy. You sit down, you count.
all the change going to the elves for Santa Claus.
God, that's so funny. But yes, girl. So that was my earliest memory of collecting money, being in tune to needing financial support and benefits.
And you learned about returns as well.
Oh my God.
People wanting, well, not people wanting it back, but your mom wanting you.
My mom's no.
Give it back.
This is not the right thing to do. And I was you're right. It's not the right thing.
It's not, but it's hilarious. Kids say the
darndest
things. Oh no. Move on from that.
That is so funny.
So, and you were doing this all in Louisville. You grew up here. Yeah.
I did. I grew up here, born and raised. I did a small stint in Chicago, lived there after getting married, but I'm a Louisville girl.
No, I love it here.
Louisville girl. Yeah. Went to school here. I am not a Louisville fan because I went to University of Kentucky, so I don't want to be shot because of that. But yes, go Wildcats.
Get it out now. We can edit it out. It's fine. It's fine. U of L, that's where I went,
Oh my God, that's so hilarious.
Go Cards.
It's the biggest rivalry. UK and U of L is like a forever rivalry.
Forever. Yeah, I don't even know. Like now it still hits with my in-laws and stuff. And I'm like, you literally never went to UK, Dad. Like Ryan's dad, my husband's dad. And like, you never even went there. Your kids didn't go there, nothing. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, your son got this full ride to U of L, like from UPS where he worked. Oh. And I'm like, why aren't you supporting that? So we buy him like card stuff. But
I love it.
Every time at Christmas, they give each other UK stuff. And my husband and I are just sitting there like looking at each other because we're
dang on UK people.
U of L kids.
Oh
so,
God.
But that's okay. I forgive you.
I love it.
As long as I'm forgiven, you're forgiven.
Listen, it was a whole thing in our household. Like it was like, okay, you want to be on the UK side? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be on the UK side.
What like made you want to go over there just to get a little bit of space from?
I got an academic scholarship.
Because see, I always feel like you either want to stay in the town where you grew up or you're like, I got to get out of here.
Way away. Yeah. I didn't want to go too far away. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to share something very personal. My mom was sick while I was in school.
Got it.
She passed away a little later after I graduated. But part of my motivation was also to stay close to her. And I used to come back and forth. And so I had a lot of weighted responsibility in college. You know what I'm saying?
And it's still such a very young age to be.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I remember being like, I got to carry this. And that's okay, but I still have to carry it.
Yeah, but it's yours to carry.
It's mine to carry.
And you made a responsible decision to be able to do that.
I did.
It's beautiful. Thank you for telling me.
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, because that was a big turning point in like my maturity level.
Yeah.
Discipline and all of that stuff grew from that experience.
I bet. And you had a younger brother, you said, so.
I did. Who I ended up taking custody of.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Right, because the age.
Yeah, there was a huge age difference. I think he was 10 when mom passed.
Gotcha.
And so I took it upon myself, and I was married, at the time, and we had a very stable situation, and it just made sense.
Yeah. And so that's, a lot of responsibility very early. So like you're saying, like you have to be able to take on that confidence, of like, I can do this. And you're holding that mother role for.
Oh my God.
And of course not replacement of any kind. And I don't mean it that way, but just that space of like guardian, and guide to someone at a young age.
Yeah, it was a huge responsibility. Thank God for my ex at the time who was willing to help me take on that responsibility and not give me pushback. But it was a lot. I grew up really quickly. He was my first baby.
Yeah.
My baby brother.
How's he doing now?
He's amazing. He's got a daughter of his own. He graduated from UK. He's
followed in your footsteps.
He's awesome. He's doing good. And I'm so proud of him and the man he's become.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I'm thankful.
Y'all did good. You and your mom.
We tried.
Yeah.
We did good.
You succeeded.
We did. We did.
So you went to the UK to be close to home and then you also went up to Chicago for a little bit.
I did. I did graduate school at University of Chicago. So what was crazy is that like I got up to University of Chicago and I'm like, okay, where's the sports? Where's the boys? I'm married. No, where's the boys?
Yeah.
Oh,
right. I forgot.
No, I'm joking. So when I got there, I realized it was a very like intellectually stimulating campus. And like they played chess over playing basketball.
Oh.
And so I was
Queen's
like.
Gambit vibes.
I was like, okay, where are my glasses? I'm gonna nerd out while I'm here. And I did. I nerded out. I loved it.
Yeah.
I love that aspect of it.
Yeah. Did you learn?
UK. I learned a lot.
Like how to play chess even?
I learned how to play chess.
Oh,
I learned all of the things like artistically.
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. UK was a party. We
party over there. Yeah.
It was a party. We had a
I partied a lot at U of L too, but I know UK is partying more.
Ooh,
I know it.
We party. And I was a part of a sorority too. So we like partied sorority party.
Yeah.
So I got to University of Chicago and was kind of like sticker shock. Like, okay. But I loved it. I embraced it and it was great. It was great for me.
And so undergrad, what did you study?
So in undergrad, I was in psychology. I got a BA in psychology. And then in master's, I got a master's in social work.
Yeah.
So I went into clinical therapy. So I got to learn all of the things about emotions and people and human behavior. And I loved it. I just was like, what makes you do what you do?
That's my favorite topic.
Isn't it?
I'm just
what in the world?
I'm so curious. And I think I should have gone into sociology probably of how people act in different situations or cultures. I just think it's so, I think people are so interesting.
Yes.
And psychology as well with that. I mean,
I love it. I love that you're in it too, because I pay attention to emotion too, probably way too much.
Same.
But I'm always in tune to what are you feeling? What are you thinking? And that's part of that social worker in me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I loved it while I was in it, and then quickly found out I'm not getting paid in this. Is that wrong to say as a woman?
Not at all.
Women, we don't say it enough. I want to make more.
Yeah.
I want to you know what I'm saying? I know I want to do the feel good stuff, but I also want to make some money, and I'm not going to be ashamed.
Yeah, most of the careers are not paid, that are nurturing, are not paid the same as anything that's more technical.
Yes.
And traditionally, statistically, women are going into those more often and we're led to those more often. And yeah, every single one that I thought about doing besides entrepreneurship, which does have, a limitless option.
Yeah.
You got to get there and work for it. And I'm down for that ride. But it's interesting. I always wanted to be a teacher, you're saying, social worker, therapist.
Yeah.
It doesn't give back to you what you give to it.
Right.
Energetically.
Yes.
Financially, all of the things.
And so as a social worker, I realized I am carrying these kids home with me. I'm carrying the weight of what's happening to them.
Yeah.
Emotionally in me, and I don't know if I can do this long term. So what are my other options?
Yeah.
And realize that quickly that selling was another option for me, and pharmaceutical sales was the way to go for me.
Yeah, and it feels like a big turn. A little, you're
huge turn.
Here we go, from this, like you said, bringing home this, this empathic kind of journey of just sitting with it. But it's so much to carry. And I have 1,000, I don't know how much, how to quantify it, my respect for that career choice, because it is such a difficult way to carry for therapists, for social workers, everything. And knowing that about myself, I was telling you, I wanted to be able to do it, but I could not. And I respect that even as long as you did. It's such
a lot.
Important work.
It is. But they don't compensate.
They need to compensate for that very important work, because they're not considering that part of the human experience. The earlier you get to people and you teach them emotional tools and regulation.
God, girl.
We're not helping people by not contributing deeply into our society. And it's so frustrating because they're talking about all this other BS, in government or whatever. I'm like, that's not it. It's not it. You're just here for the power or whatever.
Yeah. What do we need to do to get people emotionally competent? And that will change the course and trajectory of our world if we can get people emotionally intelligent and savvy, like we do with everything else. Oh, you get a job and go get married. And we're telling them the facts of life. We're not talking to them about the emotional responses and what's normal, what's abnormal, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, how to identify emotions. We got to start early. And I'll be honest with you. I started social work in Illinois. They had school social workers.
Oh,
housed in the school. You would have to come see me. Not just a little counselor that helps you with academics. I only helped you with emotion.
Really?
Yeah, loved it.
I will say Illinois got has some good stuff.
Yeah. Kentucky? Nope. We didn't have
they sell weed, so that's good too.
The dispensaries were nice. Yeah. But no,
we're getting there. Thanks, Andy.
Come on,
Andy Bashir.
And?
Just medical, but it's fine.
Listen, we'll start there.
Yeah.
We'll start there.
But honestly, I know it's a little off from what we're talking about, but when I was in a deep depression, especially within COVID and everything, I had forgotten how to laugh. I had forgotten how to release things. And honestly, those edibles helped me through. And
I love that.
Got me laughing again. And honestly, a lot of that is like why WOW exists.
Oh, I love that.
I wanted to engage in that joy because I was just sitting in my grief.
Yeah.
And not sitting in my joy.
Yeah.
And when I tried to go neutral, I actually just went numb. And I was like, well, this doesn't work either. Like, I'm going to have to feel all the things, but I can sit and I can get cozy in the joy. And then
and then begin to feel yourself again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where my heart really lies anyway. I was just like, oh, it feels good. This feels just
I'm
so
an
right.
advocate of it, okay? Daily if you can't. No, I'm joking. But I am an advocate.
Yeah, but just like to utilize as some kind of, even a tool in that moment.
Yeah.
Just to, again, it helps you remember a few things for me.
Yes.
And I utilized it as like, oh, this helps me get to that place where I can even start the healing.
That's so good.
So that was kind of interesting. But anyways, back to the kids that aren't getting don't do the drugs there. All of them.
No, we know the drugs.
Yeah, say no. I mean, my middle name is Dare. That was the Dare program. Like you can't come to Amanda Dare about anyway.
My God.
But yeah, the emotional tools are what was missing in a lot of my upbringing, and my not understanding that helped me not understand how to regulate it. So I just needed some space to be able to explore it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it was pretty unregulated in my household. We had a lot of dysfunction generationally in our family. Not really in my immediate household. My mom was amazing. My mom was my best friend. She was amazing. But our family dynamics generationally still needed support. But I'm probably my kids would say, Mom, relax. Like we're fine. We're okay, Mom. Like I'm always in tune emotionally to the kids. And I'm just like, let's talk about it. Let's feel this. Let's, because I can identify when things are frustrating or whatever. And it was, at one point I used to make my kids meditate. I used to be like, no, we're meditating. Okay, Mom.
Fine, Mom.
Yeah. And they would sit down and like, ugh. But then after a while, it became the norm and peace and having a home of just calmness and peace, letting them understand that you don't have to be taken up by the world's problems and stressors, that you can create your own peace. Yeah. You can. And I'm going to teach you the tools to do that.
Yeah, I mean, especially just in therapy for myself, like that's those tools and talking through those conversations and helping them find the guide, your guide. That's what a parent is, your guide. So helping them find the tool that works for them. Maybe it's this kind of meditation or that kind of whatever. Just having that exploration of it and knowing that it's okay to explore it. And it's okay if when it changes, it's going to change, depending on what's going on. But that emotional tool. So I'm really glad that Illinois had that opportunity for those kids to come to you in school. Like, thank goodness.
It was wonderful. So when my mom passed, it actually prompted me to move back to Louisville. And got back to Louisville, realized, there aren't any school social workers. Okay, so I'll do this for a little bit and see what else I can do.
Like you switched careers at that time, you're saying?
I did social work for a little bit while in Louisville.
Okay.
Realized as I was taking care of my brother that I needed stronger financial support.
Understood, yeah.
For myself and for him. And social work just wasn't going to pay all of the things that I knew I needed to cover. So I got really strategic in my thinking around what do I like to do? I like healthcare, but then what's going to pay?
Right.
And I hate to look at it like that, but I feel like as women, we're kind of taught to just not look at the things, that really do matter and support us.
Absolutely.
But we're taught to just be okay with things and, not push the envelope and just kind of resonate with the status quo. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah, it's almost like we're expected to shrink instead of expand.
Exactly.
And every time I thought to myself, even for my own budgeting, which I'm not saying was always the right thing to do at the moment, but I would always okay, well, how can I expand my opportunities around me to match what I want my lifestyle to look like,
God, yes.
And some of those were harder times than others and whatever. But I feel like that expansion and taking up that space and holding that for other women and for each other is we recognize it.
Yes.
And so I can bond with somebody quickly because I can see your heart.
Yeah.
I can see your story, like we're learning that and all of that about each other. But
yeah,
I know that your heart is pure. I'm down. Like, let's hang.
I love it.
And I feel like that's what bonded us too. So
it is. It really is. There was like a really deep spiritual connection because it's like, I see you, girl. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
You know?
I see you. It's creepy. I like it. I'm a true crime girly, so I like it.
Oh, I used to live in crime TV.
Really?
Live in it.
See, I struggle to watch it, but I love listening to it.
And then I would prepare for it.
Prepare for it? What do you prepare? What do you mean?
Oh, Lord, I should have said that.
Oh, so like...
I used to prepare for like if something happened.
Yeah.
I would prepare for it. So I remember one time, this was my then ex, but he came home and I had... You're going to think I'm crazy.
No, I'm not. Because I think I probably did it too. So keep going.
Knives. All around the house.
Being ready.
Yeah. And I knew that he was coming back. So I was testing this theory of how I would attack an attacker.
To your unknowing husband.
So I kind of disoriented him when he first came in. All the lights were off. And he was like, Cyn, are you home? And I had lit some matches. So it was a lot of smoke.
Ooh.
And a lot
You really
of,
did prepare.
And he was like, why is it
And he's
like
still alive,
fire?
right?
Oh
Let's
my
just
God,
preface this.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, he's alive and well.
I'm like,
Very
I got
well.
the confession out of her on the podcast.
True crime.
Recording.
Right here.
Take this to the police. What's happening? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
You're trying it out.
We really did. So yeah, I was like, you know, like pulling a knife out of like one of the plants and then was like, here.
I'm going to hide a knife in my plant.
Yeah, and then I showed him all the other places I had hidden knives in case an intruder came in and I could surprise them. And I would tell them, there's a certain way you have to hold the knife.
Yeah. Like this.
No. Hold it down like this. So when you're ready to strike,
around.
you use your arm strength to strike or strike.
But you can't hold it where it's facing up because then it can slide down. Adrian's looking at us like,
She's
you guys are
freaking fucking sick. You're sick.
Oh, she's got that strength.
She's ready to strike.
She's going to be hiding knives in her plants too. Listen, I think this is a really good plan. Women hide knives in, like, pretend they're little plant sticks, you know, that you put in there. It's like, honey, that's a water bottle. Leave it alone. Like, you got to be ready. And I have
to be ready.
Too many plants now, so I got to use them for more than, you know, just
but I
decoration.
do the same thing in my car now. Like, I have a little something in my car. I used to do these women armed defense classes.
Yeah.
I used to do these for women and used to have them hold guns and AK-47s and all these sorts of massive guns.
Yeah.
And so everybody, she's like, she is fucking crazy. She keeps looking over here at me.
She can't let this go on too long,
I have
or else
pictures of it. It's on Facebook. Okay, I have pictures of our classes, but I have pictures of me holding this huge like AK-47 and like these automatic guns, and I just was like, I am so powerful as a woman.
Yeah.
I feel so powerful now. I don't keep the guns in my work cars. I can't, but I do have other devices. I can just pop it open and, you know, like. Pop, you know, like
she's ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Come for me.
We wanted to have some self-defense classes with WOW, Adrian. We never did it. Listen.
I have resources for you.
We're texting Cynthia after this and figuring it out.
But it's such a fun class.
I mean, I always feel like you were just foreplaying with your husband though. Like this, she's just like a spy out here.
It could have been seen as that, but he was super scared afterwards. He was super scared. He was like, I don't think we can continue.
I was trying to watch Makeup and Murder Monday with Bailey Sarian yesterday.
Where is that? What channel is that on?
I'm going to send it to you. It's on YouTube, and she's amazing. And she's so fun. It's like hanging out with a bestie, you know, but for true crime.
Bestie.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And she does her makeup while she tells you a story.
Oh my God.
Like a true crime story.
That sounds like my ideal situation.
I think you would love it.
Ideal.
Listen, that's our next connection. So I was telling my husband, he was like, what are we going to watch? And I was like, trying to eat dinner. And I was like, murder. Let's go. And
what did he say?
He was like, you know, I think I've realized I don't really love listening to murder stories. I was like, Okay. So we watched Top Chef
What made
instead.
him realize that, though?
I mean, I play them a lot. Like, I fall asleep with true crime in my ears.
Oh, my God.
But
you're hilarious.
It's mostly this one podcast called Morbid. And I've said it on this podcast before, and I'm
talked
obsessed.
about that before.
I love Morbid. And it's because, again, I've been missing that like sisterhood kind of vibe. And it's actually an aunt and niece, but they were raised under the same roof, basically.
Wow.
And they're like 10 years apart. So they've like been raised as sisters, but, are technically aunt and niece, but they don't call each other that. And so it's fun to see their perspectives because one's like 5 years older than me and one's 5 years younger. So I'm just like in this great little spot right in the middle. I'm like, I'll be your third sister. Like, whatever. Just like, let's hang out. But anyways, this is not a true I swear, you guys, I swear that's coming soon with Carmilla. I'm going to do one with her.
Oh, I love it.
We have to because she and I...
She's a crime junkie.
Yes. She's been texting me about it ever since then. But anyways.
I love it.
We rounding it back around the corner. So...
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes I don't know where I get places.
Because I can go all the way left. You know,
I feel like...
You weren't expecting that.
No, but I like it. You think I'm kidding, but I'm like, get it, babe. Like the amount of times, we sell self-defense stuff at WOW because like we have those like cat claws that are like metal that look like a cat and you put it through your fingers.
Right.
And we had like mace and security alarms and stuff because it is so important.
Yeah.
And some of them you can't take on planes or on campuses or all that stuff. So, but anywho, so you worked in Big Five. You're like, okay, I love healthcare and I like the selling aspect of it. I'm just going to get you on selling these self-defense items. I'm going to get you on camera, like, bop, bop,
yes.
But selling, that's the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this
Selling
is how
is the
girls
vibe.
chat anyway. Like I can go everywhere with you.
Like literally.
That ADD.
And you're going to find something new every single time you take me somewhere. But
every time. So tell us about that. So selling, you got into selling.
Yeah, I got into pharmaceutical sales, which I love. Love pharmaceutical sales. But it taught me so much about myself, my capabilities, like how to survive in like a really cutthroat and tight environment.
It seems that way from the outside.
Yeah, corporate is cutthroat. Especially for women. You corporate women out there, I know you know what I mean.
She sees you.
It's hard. It's so hard. And so we are striving to get equality in so many ways in the corporate environment and just be seen and be heard in a way.
And we're probably just hearing...
Literally.
Little crickets.
Literally.
Surprised her with another sound. Sorry. Got it. Crickets.
Yeah, and or you're chastised for having children, or you know you can't work late. Being like it's this culture of like work yourself to death, over productivity. Like, who wants to do that and not have balance? Not me. Not me.
Not it.
So yeah, I got into.
That's why I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay. What? You're calling me before what time? No, you're not. Okay.
I wake up and work. But I do work on my own flow of when it feels good.
Hard, but you work just as hard.
Yeah.
You work just as hard. Entrepreneurship is not any way, shape, or form easier.
Yeah.
It's not.
I know. I just mean it's funny because we're like, we don't want to do that. And then we go into two really intense fields.
We're like, oh, shoot, I'm working 24 hours a day. Oh, I forgot. No, but I'm working for me.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I love about entrepreneurship. But yes. So selling, decided to use all of my corporate sales skill set and use those transferable skills in entrepreneurship and help people generate more revenue. You deserve to make
She's talking dirty to me right now.
Literally, girl, bring it here. Money, you know? So I'm like, how do we help people understand their revenue? Like, how do we help them? How do we help them feel confident about selling?
Right.
In a way that feels authentic to them.
Yeah.
Authentic. Not like you're a used car salesman.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And people like us we can spot it a mile away.
You can.
Yeah. And it's mostly because of that trauma or that, for me, it's like being around understanding narcissistic tendencies. And I'm just like, ooh, not it or whatever.
Yes.
And you're just going to protect yourself.
You protect yourself from the spin artist.
Yeah.
You know, and I call it spin tactics. And when I see it, I call it out. It's like, oh, you're spinning me now. You can't spin a spinner. But I'm very upfront about, about that I'm a seller and I'm always thinking sales. But there are some people that use it in a very negative way to kind of take advantage or manipulate. And I'm like, that's not really the art of it. Let's use it for something positive, and that's growth of women's revenue.
Yes. Oh,
our money.
I'm getting hot. Turned on. Revenue is my favorite.
Yes. Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
So
I love it.
What is sales coaching like? So that's what you're doing right now. Tell us about the vibe of getting started in that and how Cyn Lee.
Yeah, CynLeeSales.com. 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 It is a really profound business that really started with helping some national clients, supporting national clients. And once I realized, wow, I can help support the sales optimization and sales operations and sponsorship sales and all of these other really key things that we need to grow, I can do this and do it well, and we have growth. And so now how do I scale this opportunity up to cover more people, to support more people? And I realized, okay, we're going to pivot from the Diverse Entrepreneurship Summit, desummit.org, into Cyn Lee Sales.
Yeah. And you did that from 2019 through
the Business Summit.
22. So just give us little vibes of what that is so that the girlies know.
All the vibes. So all the vibes about you walk into this space, there's vendors everywhere. They are embracing you as business owners. The community's engaged. It's in this beautiful backdrop of the Speed Art Museum.
So
you
gorgeous.
would bring in national speakers to speak to the entrepreneurs. We had about 300 plus entrepreneurs in the space. We offered also a pitch contest on day 2 that really allowed entrepreneurs to showcase and pitch their business for a $5,000 win. We also had continuous workshops that happened throughout the day. So people were getting these learnings and facilitator touch points. It was great. And then all of the sponsors we had, like UPS, Yum Brand, Papa John's, majority of the banks in the area, CDFIs, SBA. I mean, you name it, we had them as sponsors. And then even Ebony Magazine came on in our last event.
That's amazing.
So we had national presence.
All of it is amazing, but
it's great.
Girl, to get that magazine too?
It was huge.
Show the diversity within it.
Love the national presence we were able to cultivate. And then I'm like, okay, what we found in the data from the summit is that people really need more sales, revenue, development, and sales analytic support.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you, what did you do with this data? Just keep putting that into Cyn Lee Sales?
Yeah, I just kept collecting the data, really understanding and refining it, using it in impact reports and impact pieces as I shared the value of what we offer. In sales coaching, it's great because, you're getting about 8 sessions of coaching based on your goals. What are your sales goals? The first question I'm going to ask you is, how much do you want to make? How much do you want to make?
You should have a number in there.
Please have a number.
Not just unlimited.
You'd be surprised how many people have a number or they think very, very low.
Yeah.
They don't even think about themselves or their services in a way that warrants the growth that they ultimately could have. So then my job is to challenge you to think about that in a different way. Because I think you could grow this. And this is why I say that.
Yeah.
And so we look at your historical data. We look at all the things. Within the 8 sessions, we include a couple of things that make us different. And I think it's huge. One, we have a LinkedIn consultant that's on our team.
And I love this, y'all, because we were talking before we recorded, and I was just like,
yeah,
I am not harnessing that at all. And I don't know. I think it's probably because, I worked in different, it would never be considered corporate, but retail situations. But I think at some point as a small business owner or entrepreneur for 15 years, I don't belong there in some way. It doesn't feel like it's marketed to me.
Oh,
but
it so is.
I am just being silly.
You totally are.
Move past that thought.
Your business and how you focused on women-owned businesses. There are so many advocates on LinkedIn around women-owned, women-owned. And consultants are there. Businesses are there. We just need to learn how to access it and tell our story differently on LinkedIn than we probably do on other social media platforms. But
yeah, because I do forget it's a social media platform.
Literally.
I really forget that. And that's so silly.
And there are tools also that support the growth engine of LinkedIn targeting and development. So that's just stuff that we target in our sales coaching. And we have a LinkedIn insider. So it's a girl that works for LinkedIn. She's on my team. She's amazing and supportive. She's out of New York, works in out of their office in New York. So she comes on and does a session with our clients. And then also we do something called a contribution margin analysis. It's when we really dive into your numbers. We dive into your fixed and variable cost and really understand how much is it costing you to make $1?
Right.
How much?
Right.
We need to know.
There's a lot of people out here giving away their dollars.
Giving it away for free.
Or paying for it.
Yes.
Because I've done a lot of kind of profit margin coaching and stuff like that into products. So I'll be like, so why is it this price? I was working with Millionaire Marketplace at the holiday market.
Yeah.
And I spoke with a lot of business owners that I was like, I'm not going to make you do something crazy that you're uncomfortable with, but why is it not $5 more? Why is it not $4, $7, $10?
Yes.
Each product that comes along, that will add up over time, of course, but my first question is, what is your cost?
What is your cost?
What is your cost? And does that include your labor? And almost always the answer was no. And I'm like, then that's not your full cost.
That's not your full cost.
And then I want to understand from that cost, how do we add not only your wholesale margin on top of it, but we add the retail margin on top of it.
So we do that. We go through all of those pieces. We even factor in things like, how much is it costing you for someone to swipe on your website? Even every little nominal cost we want to account for so we can see the true profit margin that you can access.
Right. That 2.9% that Shopify takes with 30 cents on each transaction.
Don't forget about it.
Don't forget.
It adds up.
And the payouts don't include it. So they are just hiding that.
Listen.
You've got to go in. So you have to, I even have to have my accountant go in and find do a report from my Shopify to help them understand those costs.
I love it. I love it.
They won't tell you on purpose.
I nerd out in that kind of stuff. So that's my nerd out. I'm a Six Sigma green belt too. So I love analytics and data, and I nerd out on all of that. So we have that session, and usually it's a 3-hour in-person session, and we whiteboard. We whiteboard, and then we transfer it to the document that we've developed to help people and businesses. Because you have so many people don't start with their numbers. They start with I have an idea, and I'm going to put it online. I'm going to create a website, but you haven't even thought through your pricing strategy. What? What? What are we doing?
And listen, I've given to that trap, and know that you're not alone in that. And know that's why you're here. Why the intro to this is I've made all the money mistakes, so you don't have to. That's why Cynthia's here.
Come on.
I'm already hiring her, y'all. So you better be next in line.
Book a consult. You can book it from cynleesales.com. But I love it because everybody I talk to typically needs it. They typically need that type of support, even if it's just the first 8 sessions, just to kind of get you started in thinking in that way. It's a skill.
Yeah,
it's
a
skill you develop.
Don't forget that. It is a skill. You're not just bad at it or good at it. You have to develop your skill.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah. I've been developing it for 2 decades. And I'm taking all of that and putting it into a coaching program. So it's been really nice, but then also taking the little pearls I've learned about sponsorships and developing relationships with corporate entities and how to do that and maximize those things. Yeah.
You need that. You need all parts of it because you're not, maybe even you're considering one part of it. And running a business is so fucking stressful. Once again, I get it. But having these moments to step out of your norm and even just say, I'm spending this time because this is self-care.
It is self-care.
And if you're like, for me, I was like, wow, I could take it as far as like it's self-harm, if I'm not looking at it. And then the avoidance of being scared of it not being good enough for who? One, nobody looks at your shit unless you let them.
Yeah.
Like, it's to a place of like, where you could overgive. I often overgive.
Oh, yes.
And we were, discussing that a little bit of like, that's also a feminine, a feminine expectation.
Yeah.
It's not even a characteristic. That is a societal expectation of women is like, we're overgiving. And it's at some point, even when you talk to another woman-owned business, they'll be like, oh, I'll give you a discount. I mean, I'm like, no, please don't.
Yeah.
And also, here's a tip. And like, that's me overgiving maybe a little bit too.
Yeah, but
I want them to know that, it's not necessary. And even being friendly with each other, like, I value you and you've set this price and you've explained it to me. I'll find the way.
Yes.
And if anything, maybe I'll need some grace or the payment plan or something.
Yeah.
But like, that doesn't change the worth of the service you're providing, the product that you have, the experience that you're holding.
Yes. I love everything you're saying because it really does tie back to worth and value for yourself. And I tell people the price is the price. And it's not even a huge price point, but the price is the price. And I'm okay with walking away from some business that just doesn't align.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
My people are out there.
Exactly. I mean, even right before this, Adrian and I were discussing the price of our event space.
Yeah.
And, I made calls and I was like, oh, Cynthia would be proud of me, I feel. Because like, we'll send out an email and of course, like, it's just the follow-up a long time, a lot of times.
Yeah.
And so I was following up with people who had reached out and a few of them had found other venues. That's totally fine. Like we've expressed it, and some of them still want to have a tour. They just didn't realize like the next steps or it's front of our mind because we're sitting in this room, but it's not front of their mind. So kind of keeping that follow up and that understanding of like, I got some no's today and I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I mean, I expect that this event space is very specific.
Yeah, it is.
I know that.
And there's a market.
There's absolutely. And the people that have booked it at full price and have had the most amazing like events in here, like I'm honored to be even in the presence. I sit behind this curtain, I'm like little Wizard of Oz, working on my laptop back here. And I'm just like, wow, it's like I was listening to, I try to just tune out and like work on my stuff unless I'm needed. Of course, I always try to step in as like an extra kind of customer service. Or if they, I try to take the coats at the door, make sure everybody's got their drink, like that kind of vibe. Yeah. Because that's the hostess in me that I love to do. But like even, and knowing that they have support from us, but I even feel like if there's somebody that comes in here and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the event and they've paid full price, they didn't even question it. But I have payment plans and I haven't figured it out because I think if anything, we need to be able to be flexible, but not in the pricing.
No.
At the end of the day, I have to come up with the rent.
Absolutely.
And it's not just the rent.
Yep.
There's so many other things.
Yes.
And we've invested over $50,000 last summer into it. Yep. So I'm like, it's all sitting in here. And I'm recouping that investment.
Absolutely.
And that's not even all recouped yet because it hasn't even been long enough to have that. So knowing that we have that in here and you're coming for this beautiful decor and everything, like we're going to make sure that we wow you.
Yes.
That's what it's all about for us.
Experience of
exactly.
it.
But I know that the ones that, said no or like just didn't ever respond again or something like they funneled themselves out.
Yeah.
They filtered it out and I don't have to worry about that. I just have to keep trying to find the ones that are interested.
Here's another data point for you that we learned through our LinkedIn consultant. 95% of people that you're selling to typically aren't ready to buy.
Yes.
The 5%, however, are. So you almost have to keep cycling through this 95% consistently and kind of just selling to them in the background. So when they're ready to move into that 5% margin, they're going to buy from you.
Exactly.
So it's okay.
I love knowing the numbers behind that too.
I
like
love the numbers. Feels good. Like this is data that was actually done by LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And purchase behavior and selling behavior. And so I love that because it just lets me know the work that I'm doing is not in vain. Even if you don't buy from me, that's okay. At some point, if I keep reaching out to you, the likelihood of you buying from me is going to increase significantly.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's even the opportunity to think about, you might only see something like, people will be like, well, I saw something, maybe there's something similar to your business.
Yeah.
And they saw an advertisement for it. They need to see it a lot of times, 7 times.
At least 7 times.
To be interested in that. So the more that someone else says woman-owned in their business, that helps me.
That's so good.
That helps Woman-Owned Wallet. If you're say all the things, get all the wording out there, the verbiage so that they can use it, so that even when they hear it from any one of us, they're ready to say, you know what? I've interacted with a lot of women-owned businesses recently. I've heard that a lot. And now I'm sold on that. So in a way, even if you're not selling, for yourself, you're selling for every other woman out there.
Absolutely. You're expanding the market.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a great point.
Yeah. And the way that you can, I've talked to a lot of people about negotiating different salaries or whatever. And I'm just like, here's where we're going to hold our ground. And I'm holding their hand because they're nervous and they're on the phone. And I'm like, no, don't take the first, don't put out the first number. Just it's okay, you're worth it. Maybe you just need a little hand holding with that and that confidence building like we were talking about.
Yes.
And I don't know if I know a more confident person than you, Cynthia.
Oh my gosh.
You exude it. And
I love, because I've had to get really tough in it. I used to have doctors that would kick me out of their offices, that would tell me no. Hearing no was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, let me go find a yes, and their yeses are out there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find a yes. And so I'm okay with the no's, and getting confident in that was part of my superpower.
Yeah. I think that's what builds it.
It is.
It's like we talk about a lot, it's like that muscle that you're building. And confidence, people think is like the destination.
It's not. It's the starting point.
We just need a sound. Nope.
No, honey.
Yeah, it's that every single time that you try, you're building confidence in yourself.
Yes.
Because you even took the chance.
That's
it's
good.
That trust within yourself. Even every no was an experience.
It was.
Think about it. Take it in. Exactly. Yes. And learn from that moment. And I mean, I've had 6 businesses before this one. What are you going to tell me that they're all failures? I'm I'm sitting here in every single one of them. The next one I started.
I love it.
I didn't start from scratch.
No, you didn't.
Not once.
No, you didn't.
People will be like, I just want you what you have. I'm like, you
understand all the work that goes into this? That's another thing I think too.
Yeah.
When people are paying you for a service or an action or a product, they're paying for all of the lessons. They're paying for all of the history. They're paying for everything you went through to get to the point you're at that moment. And I think I actually had to say this today on a call. So you're paying for all of the sales workshops and certifications and things that I had to go through in order to be able to offer this to you today. So, the price is the price because this is what I'm bringing to the table.
Right.
And I think that's such a powerful thing for people to understand.
And even if you're charging by time, and I know a lot of people, and I agree with you, keep it, people understand being paid by the hour because a lot of people are paid by the hour.
Yeah.
But if you're paying per value and what you're receiving, that's a completely different transaction to explore. And as someone who's grown up as an artist, I can do a mural maybe a lot faster than you could.
Yeah.
Say, not you, but the role you.
Totally get it.
Or the person hiring me could.
Yeah.
But then it's okay, well, you're paying for me still to be able to do it that fast.
Yeah.
And to do that conveniently and all of that too. So don't forget, these 15 years, I mean, you just reminded me, these 15 years, why?
Yes. Yeah.
Why am I not charging for that?
You could be you're probably already doing consulting work and not realizing it, but capitalizing on the consulting work in a way
I do, and I charge for it.
Good girl. Yes.
I mean, it's been requested of me so much, I
love that.
I couldn't turn it away.
Absolutely. I love that for you.
And especially for the mission. Like, I want to make sure that y'all are doing great.
Makes sense.
But this is kind of part of that. We're consulting right now. We're reminding y'all.
We really are.
And you're welcome for free.
I love it. I love it.
But the rest of it, hire us.
Hire us. Pay us what we're worth.
Exactly. So from that place, like I always like to remind people, like we love to put money in the wallets of women at WOW.
Yes.
How can people put money into your wallet? And we'll wrap up beautifully that way.
I love it. Let's put money into your wallet by getting you more revenue in the door. Let's sell more, your products, your services, your offerings, your intellect, whatever it is. And if you haven't even developed what it is, let's help you develop the concept in a way, but start with your numbers. Let's start with your finances. Let's not overlook that.
Perfect.
I love it. CynLeeSales.com, woman-owned wallet. Let's go.
Get it. We'll mention all of that again in the show notes and make sure everything's available for y'all to put money into Cynthia's wallet so that you can put more money into your own.
Absolutely.
And I'm not joking. You're hired.
I love it.
I mean,
I'm ready.
We're finding that this year is going to be, like we said, that heat that, maybe it's kind of hard. That's the time to still, maybe not double down always, but to dig in is what I was trying to find. Dig in and to build that skill set so that when the time comes when it's not as
it's an
hot,
investment. It's an investment.
That investment is paying out immediately.
Yes.
That you're not investing when it's a simpler time to move money around in the world.
Exactly.
You're ready for that movement when it comes.
Get ready. We're going to help you get there.
Yay. Well, thank you, Cynthia.
Oh my God, you're welcome. I've loved my time here with you.
I love you, and I loved our time too. Yay. And my trauma is healed. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit more.
Every time I heal a little trauma.
I love it.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yay. And moneymakers, thanks for listening. And until next time, go out there and make that money. Cha-ching. If you want to put more money into the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram, @womanowned.wallet, and on TikTok, @womanownedwallet. You can support us by following our podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.